Hey there, everybody. My name is Michael Martin, and today we're going to be looking at promoting engagement with Nearpod. So some of us may have heard of Nearpod before. I know the district has purchased it for everybody, and there's just been so many things that we've all been working with that none of us might have had the opportunity or the time to really try it out. So what I want to do today is I want to show you guys just a few things that I do in Nearpod that I felt have been really effective at promoting engagement in my classes, both with my in-person students and my remote students. I've thought Nearpod has been really cool, and I've enjoyed using it. So I wanted to share just a few things with you guys, kind of show you what they look like, and then show you how to do them. Okay? So really quickly, I have a self-paced version of this presentation, this Nearpod, for you to follow along with. So I want you guys to have this code here. So what you're going to do, you're going to go here to this website, join.nearpod.com. So I'm going to go to that and show you guys. It's going to be join.nearpod.com. And you're going to press enter. And once you're there, you're going to see a website that looks kind of like this. So in this little box here, you're going to put the code. So the code that I'm giving you is this YU8XD. So just go on ahead and type in that code, and you'll be able to follow along on a self-paced version of this Nearpod presentation. And it's going to be open, you guys can see, until August 31st. And so that will give you the opportunity to kind of play around with it for a little while. And if you just, want to check it out, maybe you forgot something, so it'll be available for you there. So I want to go on ahead and get started here. So first off, just a little bit about myself. Again, like I said, my name is Michael Martin. I'm starting this year as a culinary arts teacher at NewTech. So I'm really excited for that. This is my third year with ECISD. The last 2 years I've been at OHS. I've been teaching professional communications and principles of hospitality. And I had the chance to move over to NewTech to do culinary this next school year, so I'm really excited for that. So I'm also a lifelong technology lover and a nerd, kind of a gamer. Always been into the gadgets and stuff like that. And I really am committed into bringing technology into the classroom in a positive way. We have these devices. We have the Chromebooks for the kids. We have cell phones. And I think rather than telling them to put them away, there's definitely ways that we can use them to promote their engagement and make things a little bit more interesting. And so that's what I'm hoping to do here. So just enough about me, moving on to what we're actually going to be doing today, our agenda. So we're going to be doing just a few things. First off, we're going to have a refresher about logging into Nearpod. Okay, so some of us may or may not have ever used Nearpod before. So I want to just really quickly show you what you need to do to log in. And then we're going to show you about downloading the Nearpod add-on in Chrome. This Nearpod add-on is going to be very useful. It's going to allow you to use Google Slides, like I am showing you right here, to create your presentations rather than using the Nearpod app. And I think Google Slides is a little bit easier and a little bit more familiar for many of us. So I'm going to show you guys 3 of my favorite Nearpod features here. So we've got our Collaborate board, our open-ended questions, and our matching pairs. So I'm going to show you guys, those are 3 that I use all the time. And I want to show you guys sort of what they look like and give you an idea of, how you might use those. And then I'm going to show you after that how you could actually create those slides. And at the end, we'll leave just a few minutes for questions. Alrighty, so really quickly, I'm going to show you guys how to log into Nearpod. So we're just going to go to nearpod.com for that. Now, it's already got me logged in here, so let me log out really quickly, and I can show you guys what to do. So once you log out, it's going to bring you to this page here, just the general sort of splash screen for Nearpod. So up here near the top right, you're going to want to click this login button. So go ahead and click that. All right, once you click the login button, it's going to bring you to this page here. So you've got this little area that says Teachers Login. So what we're going to do is we're going to log in with our Google account. So that's going to be your ecisd.school email. So for most people, that's going to be your first name dot your last name at ecisd.school. So for me, it would be michael.martin@ecisd.school. And then whatever password you have for your Google account, I believe it will be the same password you use to log into your computer. So I'm going to click Login with Google. So when we click Login with Google here, it's going to bring up my account. So I've already logged in previously before I've got my Google account here. So I'm just going to click that. If it's not showing up for you there, then just type in your ECISD.school email. Not a big deal. And once you get logged into Nearpod, it's going to look something like this. Yours is going to probably have less than mine. I've been creating some things, and I've got some Nearpods in here that I've been using. But this is sort of what it's going to look like generally. So this is how you're going to log into Nearpod. All right. So the next thing I want to show you all is downloading the Nearpod add-on. Now, like I was mentioning before, that Nearpod add-on is going to be really, really, really useful because you can create your presentations within Nearpod here. You can go to create a lesson or create an activity, but it just doesn't work as well. I feel like it's a lot easier to use Google Slides. So what you're going to want to do is go to your Google Slides. So you can just go to slides.google.com. Or if you've got, something that you want to convert into a Nearpod, we can go to that page. So once you're on a Google Slides page, up at the top, we've got our little buttons here underneath the name of your file, edit, view, etc. And then you're going to want to go all the way over here to the second, to the farthest to the right, and click Add-ons. So once we click Add-ons, I don't have it on here right now because I want to show you guys how to download it. So you're going to want to go ahead and click down here to Get Add-ons. So once we click Get Add-ons here, we have a search bar. So we've got Google Workstation Marketplace, and we've got a search bar here that says Search Apps. So we're going to click that Search Apps bar, and we're just going to type in Nearpod. So we'll click that. And once that pops up, we have Nearpod for Google Slides right here. So you're just going to want to go ahead and click that, and it's going to bring up the app for you here. The add-on for you here, and we're just going to click Install. Now it's going to ask for your permission to install it, so we do want to allow it. So we're going to click Continue. Okay, and again, it's going to ask you for your school Gmail account that you want to use. So go on ahead and just click your account. And it's going to one more time ask you if you want to allow it, so you can read this. It will allow Nearpod to see, edit, create, and delete your Google Slides presentations, and display and run third-party web content. Just go on ahead and click Allow there. All right, so Nearpod has been installed for us. So now that we've got that installed, we can close this window with the X button here. And we're going to go back up to the top to this add-ons button again. And you're going to see here that we've got a new option. So we've got an option that says Nearpod. So what we're going to do, we're going to hover over that, and it's going to bring up another little menu. We just want to click Open Nearpod. So we're going to click that here. And I'm not going to edit this lesson because I'm using it right now. So we can just click Go to Nearpod. Whoops. Actually, no, we don't want that. So normally you're going to have some options here. Let me show you on this editing screen, actually. I've made a copy of this one so I can kind of change things without messing up the presentation. So we're going to go to Add-ons, click Nearpod here, Open Nearpod. Okay, here's what we wanted to see. So when we go over here, you're going to have your various options. These are going to be how you do your Nearpod slides, which I'll show you later. But you should see something like this. Now, if you've never used this before, it might ask you to log in. So if it does, again, just click the login with Google and log in with your school Gmail. So it may do that, it may not. But if it does ask you, just know to expect that. Okay, so now that we've got our Nearpod add-on installed, I want to show you guys a little bit of what the Nearpod looks like, what it can do. So I've got added on here, I've pulled up what the teacher view is going to look like for a Nearpod, and then I've pulled up the student view. So I've logged in as myself just on a student view so you can kind of see both ends because they do look a little bit different. Okay, so first off here, this is just what the page looks like when you're controlling a Nearpod. So this is our title slide. So you can change your slides here by clicking these arrows on one side or another. Now my face might be kind of blocking this. Let me move this a little bit. So you can see in the bottom left here, this is the people that are currently joined into your Nearpod. So if you want to click that, that'll show you who all is logged in. So that way you can tell if you have all of your class logged in, if there's anybody that you've asked to and they're not in, you can tell from right here. And one thing that's kind of cool is it does have a little dot by their name. So it shows if it's green or if it can also show up as red. So if it shows up as red, it means that the student might have clicked out of their Nearpod or might have closed it. Now, it's not always 100% accurate, so don't take it as 100%, but it does give you an idea. All right, so we're going to go ahead and move forward a little bit here. So that's our About Me slide, our agenda where we left off. All right, so I want you all to consider a quick question for a moment before or on the following slide here. So I'm going to show you one bonus feature before we get into the main ones. I'm going to show you a poll. So I'm going to move it over here. So we've got our teacher view right here of what the poll looks like. Okay, so on the student side, what it says here, time for a poll, you'll have 30 seconds. Wait for your teacher. So whenever the teacher clicks start activity, that poll will begin for all of your students. So we've got our question here. I like to read the question out to the students before I start it just so they know what they're going to be answering. So the question we're asking here, have you ever asked yourself this question during Techie PDs? Nearpod seems kind of cool, but how can I really use it in my class? So I'm going to start the activity. So we've got a 3, 2, 1, let's go. So now it's started here. So I'm going to go to my student view so you guys can kind of see. So this is what the students are going to see. So they have the question and yes or a no. So I'm going to say yes. And they'll need to press the submit button. Now, if they don't press the submit button, it's okay. Nearpod will automatically take whatever they've put in on their answers. So if they forget to hit submit, that's okay. But it is nice for them to go on ahead and press it. So we're going to press submit. Okay, got it. And they can edit the answer until the timer runs out. So the timer is about to run out now. Time's up. So now that that's going on, we can see here a breakdown of how everybody answered the questions. All right, so we've just got the one question and the one student. So we've got 100% answered yes. Now, if you want to share this little bar graph, normally there would be multiple people and it would give you a breakdown of who all answered yes, who all answered no, and kind of show it on a pie graph here. And you can always share that with your class. So if you click share, so you'll click that, and then on our side, it brings up this chart for the students to see. So just if you want to share that information with them, that's totally up to you. So then we're going to unshare that. All right, cool. So that was our bonus thing. That's going to be a poll. Now we're going to move on to our next activities here. So I like the poll because it's a really quick and easy way to promote engagement with your students and to kind of keep just monitoring in because when we're using Nearpod, a lot of times, we may be taking some notes, doing some activities, that you can use PowerPoint slides and all sorts of other things with it. And so especially if it's like kind of a notes day, it's a good way to kind of keep students involved in a way that, sometimes they might not always be super actively engaged. All right. So the 3 Nearpod tools that I love and I use all the time that I'm going to be telling you guys about, we've got our Collaborate board, our open-ended question, and our matching pairs. So the first one that I'm going to show up is going to be the Collaborate board. Okay. So you can already see my teacher side here. So this slide is going to be a Collaborate board. So with the Collaborate boards, one thing you're going to see here, it says this slide is a Collaborate board. Would you like to approve student comments before they are posted? So if you don't really know your class, if it's the beginning of the year and you don't know them well and you want to be able to moderate and make sure that you have yes or no approval before something gets posted, you can turn this on. A lot of times what I hear suggested is maybe turning it on at first for the first few times you use Nearpod, and then once you kind of get to know them, maybe start turning the approvals off, but maybe not even tell them. So that way, it just makes it a little bit easier for you. So for now, I'm going to say yes, just so you guys can see what that looks like. So For our slide here, we have a brainstorm. So these collaborate boards are good for, I like using them at the beginning of a lesson or at the beginning of introducing a new concept to help people kind of brainstorm, get all these ideas up on a wall, especially when we have hybrid classes, some at home, some face-to-face. It's hard to do those things on a whiteboard like we might have done before. So this works really kind of well for doing that. So the question that we have here is, what reasons do you think people might have to travel? So we've got here, this is what it looks like on the student side. So we were just looking at the teacher side a moment ago. This is a student side. So students can share a lot of things. So I could say they might go on vacation. So we can hit post. And one other thing that's kind of cool is you can press this button beside post and they can search Google for images. So if they want to put pictures as part of what their answer is. So we're going to just click this little beach cabana and then they want to hit post. Okay, so you see the student will show that their posts are pending approval. So on the teacher side, we're going to want to go up here. It has this little thing. Click this button to review and share student comments. Okay, so we're going to look here. So we see what people have posted. So we just click the green check mark to approve it or the red X to decline it. Say, no, that's not going to be posted. So once we click this green check mark, it shows up on the board and everybody in the class is able to see it. All right, and again, I really like this feature as something to kind of activate prior knowledge, to start just brainstorming, coming up with a lot of ideas about, a new lesson, to see what the students might already know, things like that, and just kind of get them engaged a little bit. All right, so our next slide here, I'm going to show you open-ended questions. And this one is nice, especially if you're like a math person. You can insert math equations for math-based classes. All right, so we have what the student's going to see here. Tell me what the name of this equation is. So we have our a squared plus b squared equals c squared. So you can insert math symbols. This one is just a very basic one with the squared, but you can do all sorts of symbols that will help with math equations and showing those correctly. All right, so on the teacher side, it shows it a little bit funny. It just shows a squared plus b squared equals c squared. But as you can see on the student side here, it does display them as it should. Okay. And so our student is going to know this one. This is the, no thanks, Grammarly. This is the Pythagorean theorem. Whoop, can't spell today. Theorem. And I know I did not spell that right. So Grammarly is going to help me. Pythagorean theorem. Alrighty, so once the student has typed in their answer, oops, I misspelled theorem too. Man, I'm off today. So once we put in our answer, we're going to hit submit. Okay. And once the student has put that in, okay, it took it a moment. So the answer, and that is one thing to note on Nearpod. Sometimes it does take a moment for answers and responses to come through for you. So this is a really great way to kind of ask quick questions and get the student and get instant feedback to the students on if they're understanding something. So we can see here, Michael, you answered Pythagorean theorem. Excellent job. Now, if I didn't answer that and I said something, I gave you the wrong answer, that would be a great opportunity for the teacher to just correct right there before that mistake, becomes, too ingrained in their head. So it's a really great tool to use just for really quickly making corrections, monitoring, and again, just keeping that engagement going. Okay, now we're going to move on to our third activity here in Nearpod, which is the matching pairs. So I really like the matching pairs. They're good. They're a really good tool for I like to use them for quick vocab comprehension check. So if you're doing like some new vocabulary, I like to add in a few matching pairs. It makes it a fun little game and just lets you check for the vocabulary and how students are doing. Okay, so this is going to be the teacher view on the matching pairs. So what it's going to show you, it shows you each student's name and how many matches they got and how many tries they took. So if they got, in this example, we have 8 total, so that would be 4 pairs. So you would want them ideally to have 4 matches in 4 tries, because that means that they got everyone right the first time. So you want the matches and tries to match as closely as possible. That will indicate the highest level of mastery for them. All right, so we've got a few different matching pairs here. So what they're going to do is they're going to click the 2 that match together. So we're going to have here a chemical that is toxic and not usually found in food. So we're going to click that. And then they're going to click which word here or phrase that they think matches that. So we're going to click, I think that's a chemical contaminant. And it gives a little check mark so we know we got it right. Okay, so we're going to do that with all of them. So you can see here as it's going, it's a little bit behind because there is a slight delay. There it goes, 2 out of 4, 2 tries, so good job so far. Okay, then we're going to do these. So if we get one wrong, it just gives us a little X. And this gives instant feedback to the student, and it lets them see privately, so they kind of know how they're doing as well. So foodborne illness, biological contaminant, there we go. Okay, so when they're done, it lets them know there. So perfect, we got all 4 matches. We did 5 tries, so that just means that we had to have 1 extra try on one of them. So pretty good overall. Alrighty, so with that being said, though, I want to show you guys kind of how to create some of these slides really quickly, because they all look really nice and cool, but then sometimes when it comes to actually creating these things, it can be a little bit tricky. Okay. So what we're going to do first, I'll give you the bonus and show you the poll. That one's pretty simple. So when we're in our Google Slides here and we're going to be creating these Nearpod slides, this is where that add-on that we installed earlier is going to come into play. So we're going to go up here and click our add-ons button. We're going to click Nearpod. We're going to click Open Nearpod. We're going to have this little app come up on the side here. Okay, so these buttons that you see, these are going to be all the different options that we have for different types of slides. So you can see that there's several things that I'm not using here. If you guys want to play around with those, there's a lot of really cool ones. I'm just showing the ones that I use most often myself. All right, so we're going to scroll down here. We see poll. So this was our poll slide here. When we're on Google Slides, it looks a little bit different. So we see here where it's just showing like a poll. Or it just says the word poll and it shows us a little bit. We're not going to be able to see too much of that. It really turns on and you get to see the magic of it once you actually have the Nearpod active. So what we're going to do, if you want to edit the slide, you can click this Edit This Slide button, but I'm just going to click Poll and show you guys how to do it brand new. Okay, so it's going to open up here and it's going to take just a moment to load. So we're going to see a few different things here. So we've got the box to type our question into. So we can do a few things with that. We can change the size of the font. We can make it bold. We can italicize it, underline it, strike it. So all of those things that you've probably kind of seen before in Microsoft Word, things like that. Now on the right-hand side here, we have a few options. So the first one is to add a timer. I like to add a timer just because it helps you kind of keep things paced and, you know somebody's not going to take 5 minutes on a question that should take 30 seconds. All right, so we're going to click Add Timer. For polls, a lot of times I usually use 30 seconds, but you can do whatever you feel is appropriate for your question. You might want to do 1 minute and 30 seconds. Okay, so I'm going to add this timer here. Now, we can also add pictures. So we can go on here, let's see here, image. Let's search for a Google image here. So I'm going to find an image of a cat. We'll click the sleepy cat right here. Okay, we're going to save it. upload failed. Let's try that one more time. Try a different picture. Maybe it didn't like that one for some reason. I'm going to pick this cat. I'm going to save it. There we go. Sometimes when you're trying to use images from Google, sometimes the image, it just doesn't work. There might be some protection or something that particular picture won't work. So if you ever get that error that we just saw, then just try a different picture. And like you see here, it usually works. Now, lastly, on the right-hand side here, we have this option, allow students to select multiple options. So that's if you want them to be able to select more than one answer. So if you want them to be able to select more than one answer, maybe that applies. You can turn that on. But if you don't want that, turn it off. I usually leave that off. All right, so we're going to put the question here. So we're going to ask, what is the animal in this picture? We're going to put our answer options. So we can put dog or cat. And the polls are less about getting things right or wrong and more about, just getting people's ideas and opinions. So we can also add multiple answer. We could say duck. We could say chicken. All right, so once we're happy with that, all we need to do is hit the save button. Okay, and what we'll see here, okay, there it goes. So our poll has appeared. So it shows up like this. However, once we open it up into our Nearpod, we'll be able to see the poll like we saw previously. Okay, so next up, we're going to look at that Collaborate board that we did. So the Collaborate board, that was the one that I like to use at the beginning of a lesson or a new concept, just to kind of get ideas and sort of activate that prior knowledge. So what we're going to do here, so we're going to scroll up, rather, to our Collaborate board. Okay, and we would click that. And it's going to open up another little window here, similar to the one we saw for the poll. All right, so here we can enter our topic and enter our description. So for the topic, I had put brainstorm before. And the description, that's where I put my question. So the question that I used before was, what are some reasons people might travel? Okay. And so this one's pretty simple. The last thing we'll need to do is choose a background. So we can click through, just pick the one you like. It doesn't really matter. It's just how it's going to appear. So I'll pick this one that looks like a little corkboard. And one other thing, you can also add a picture to these as well. So let's put a picture for travel here. So I like this one with the little airplane and the globe. So that way, if you want to add a little picture, and you can do that as well. Okay, we're going to save that again. It'll take just a moment to save and add into our slide here. Scroll down. All right, and here's our Collaborate board slide. Sometimes it takes a moment. There it goes. So we have our picture. We have brainstorm. What are some reasons that people might travel? So we have all of this stuff popping up for us here. Okay, so next we're going to look at the open-ended question. So this was the one that we worked on and did, or that we showed how to do the math equations. And I'd like to show you guys how to do that as well, because I know there's a lot of math teachers out there, and that's actually a really useful tool. So what we're going to do, we're going to scroll down here to open-ended question. We're going to click that. Okay, perfect. So again, on the right-hand side, we see these things that we've seen previously. So we have our add timer here. So if you want to add a timer, we'll say a minute for this one. So we're going to add this. And you can add images. So if you have pictures, again, that you can do that. I'll just show you how to do that. We'll search math. Let's put this little math picture. Cool. So to add in these math equations, so we can have these buttons. We have our superscript, our subscript, special character. So the special characters are kind of what's going to be really useful for a lot of math things. So really quickly here, let's do our button A square. So we click the superscript button here, and that brings it up. Okay, then we're going to type plus. Then we click our superscript button one more. Whoop, we need our B. Then click superscript one more time, squared. Click superscript to turn it off, otherwise everything's going to be up like that. Then we're going to say equals C superscript squared. Okay, so we've got our equation there, so we can put in, just like I did before, what is the name of this equation? And then, again, there's a variety of different symbols you can use here. So you're going to press this special characters, and I'm not much of a math person myself, but if you need things like the infinity sign, you can add that in. Or if you need things like, what's this one? Function. So you can add in these symbols here, so you can put in math equations and do them open-ended. So that way you can kind of watch the students how they type in their answer. Alrighty, and one other thing here on the side, you can also enable student audio recordings. So in the case that you want them to speak an answer, you can enable that as well. So we're going to save this one here. Alrighty, so we've got our open-ended question showing up right here. So again, I don't know if I've shown the editing, so I want to show that really quickly here. So if we do need to edit a slide, I think I mentioned it, but if you want to do that, you just click this edit the slide button, and what it's going to do, it's going to bring back up the same window here that you had. Okay, so that way if you decide you need to make any changes, you don't have to delete the whole slide. Okay, so we can make a change. Just delete these because we didn't really want them, and then click save here. Alrighty, now we've saved that. It'll take a moment. There it goes, refreshing the changes. Now it's going to tell you this right here up at the top of this Nearpod add-on, but one note, Nearpod slides cannot be copied and pasted. So if you want to move one of these slides over, it's best to click it and drag it, because if you copy and paste it, they won't work right. Okay, and our last thing that we're going to look at here today is going to be our matching pairs. So the matching pairs is fun because it kind of is like a little bit of a vocab game. And students usually like it. Mine tend to get a little bit competitive with each other, see who can do it or who can get all the answers in the fewest number of tries. So this one is going to look just a little bit different from the others. So again, here we have our add timer, but this time it's still on the right-hand side, but it's more like on the top here. So if you want to give them, I would say maybe 3 minutes, depending. These can take a little bit longer. So just give them instructions, match the following vocabulary words with their definitions. Okay, so now this could be any kind of vocab activity. This would work well for almost any class. I used food safety vocab in the one I showed you earlier. I don't have those handy, so I'm just going to put in some really quick just demos. So I'm going to show you how to do this with pictures just because it makes it really quick. Oops, let me X off of that. So we're going to add a pair here. So I'm going to add an image. So again, I'm going to search a picture of a cat. Okay, save. So we've got our cat with a little bow tie there. This is going to be our cat. I'm going to add another pair. This time we're going to search dog. Okay, we're going to use this puppy. Oops. I clicked done, and I did that a little bit earlier than I meant to, but no worries. You can see we haven't finished yet, so I can click the add pair right here. Okay, so we're going to search, oops. We're going to search duck. Duck. And then we're gonna, one last one, chicken. Got a lot of food chicken pictures here. Okay. So we've done that. So this one would be probably more for like the little kids here, matching a picture with what the animal is. But we can do this, and we can actually preview this one. That's new. So when you do the preview, it's actually going to let us see what this looks like beforehand. So we can click our cat. So it lets us know we got that right. This would be I've actually never seen this one before. I've just saw that this was added. This must be a new feature, which is really cool that they're doing that. So we can match our duck, chicken, dog. Yay, we got them all right. So that would be really good. Whenever I have anything like this that has like a right and a wrong answer that's going to give them feedback right away, I do always like to kind of play it myself beforehand just to make sure I did everything the way I meant to. So yeah, that's actually a really good way to preview that ahead of time. Cool. So what we're going to do here now, we're going to press our save button. Take just a moment here. Okay, scroll back down. So we've got our matching pairs loading up. Whoops. Sometimes it jumps around a little bit. Okay, so there we go. So this is going to be the last little section for us here. Now, normally in the live one, I would be taking the last little bit for some questions here. Now, I understand that we're not going to really, you guys are watching this as a video, so you're not really going to be able to ask me questions right here. However, if you do have any questions at all about what we've been looking at, please feel free to reach out to me. My email is michael.martin. Hold on, let me stretch this box out. EctorCountyISD.org. All right, so if you have any questions or you just are not sure about something that I talked about, because I think I went a little bit fast, please feel free to email me here. So again, my email is michael.martin@EctorCountyISD.org. So these are just a few of the ways that I use Nearpod in my classroom. Just want to give you a little taste of what it looks like and how you create these things. So I hope this has been interesting and beneficial to all of you. Again, if any of you have any questions, please feel free to email me. But again, thank you so much for your time and watching. I hope you guys have a wonderful rest of your day. We'll see you back in school soon. Bye.